Hello, my name is Daryl Hester, and today I will be interviewing Tessie Edwards about her new upcoming book, Step Left and Move Forward, which will be released soon. She's currently in development with this book. And as her producer, I thought it would be appropriate to have a conversation with her about this book and asking a few questions. So, Tessie, the first question I wanted to ask is what was the inspiration for writing this book?
Well, as an attorney, I represent clients in family law and in criminal defense. And a lot of times I find myself talking to clients about what they're in front of me for a criminal case or a divorce or some pivotal moment to change their life. And I think people see me now as an attorney sitting on the other side of the table. And it's very easy to make assumptions about, oh, you're an attorney or you have this, you don't have these problems or whatever it is. And so I started really truly sharing my story with a lot of my clients back when I opened my firm officially in 2009, but I started taking the little cases here and there in 2008. And it was then that I start explaining people as a way to comfort them that this is not a sentence on your life, the situation that you're having right now. When I represented, even as a prosecutor, when I would be talking to a client and or they weren't clients then, when I was talking to a defendant then, and they would be in tears about the situation and how something went so wrong. Like if it was a DUI, for example, and you misjudged how much you could handle before you tried to drive home because it was close and so on and so forth. And I shared with my clients different things that I have went through in my life and how you can still, rebound, go around it, keep going. Like it's not a life sentence. Even if it's a legitimation and you're getting a divorce, sometimes, and it's one of my favorite words is serendipity. Sometimes things that seem so dark and so deep and so heavy
Mm,
now ends up being the biggest, blessing in your life, and
mm,
it makes a positive change in your life. And as I had these conversations with mothers with their children, trying to, help them with the criminal cases, or sisters or brothers or people with the family supporting the client themselves who are going through the family law matter or the criminal matter, as the more I told my story over the years, people just kept saying, "You should write a book. You should
mm.
write a book. You should write a book. That's a powerful story." Or that my story gave them hope that this situation would not be a life sentence for them. Like
Mm,
I literally have been arrested more than one time,
mm.
and everybody's shocked. Like when I tell them, "Oh, I dropped out of high school." It's not that it's something I'm proud of to flaunt that all over the world, but I just want people to know that there will be hiccups,
Mm.
and there will be hills that you have to learn. You and I've had the conversations. Like there has to be a sense of purpose and drive in you to keep going, because you're absolutely not if, but when you have
Mm.
a an issue, an obstacle, whatever you want to call it, a trial, you have to learn how to go around it and keep going, or the world will swallow you up.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because when I think about getting a doctor
Mhm.
and I think about, okay, well, I need a doctor, like I had lung surgery before. And it's really interesting talking to a doctor who also has had the same surgery, or who has the same like disease or worked through it. So
Mhm.
you being somebody that not only is a lawyer, a criminal defense lawyer who has been to jail,
Mhm.
and being a divorce attorney who has been divorced, you
Mhm.
literally have the experience of the person you're trying to help, which is, I think, significant and not really something most people can say that their lawyer, has the experience in. So I find that really interesting too.
But it's more than that for me. It's not just the lawyer, because I'm a lawyer today, but I've been Tessie all my life.
Mm,
And so a lot of the obstacles and things that I've had to overcome happened in my life, or came about in my life well before I was an attorney.
mm,
I didn't become an attorney till I was 33. I had 33 years of being Tessie. Nobody else is better qualified. And that is what allowed me to be a lawyer at 33. It was not it was all the hard knocks of, you know, what I saw at home taught me how to pivot and have that grit to keep going and figure things out early. Having younger siblings to take care of help you learn how to develop a sense of take care of it and go around it and this and that. Like, if you don't have this, do that. If you can't do this, like, you have to figure it out. And I just learned that very early, which is when people were shocked. Like when I started law school. When I started law school, I had 5 kids already, and everybody like, "Oh my gosh, how did like?" I was on such a high because I got into law school. That's what I had been working for so long. It could have been 10 kids, and I would
Mm.
have figured it out. Like I was determined to figure it out. And some of the things that are very serious to other people, like my priorities were very clear to me, and that was my children and graduation. And everything else that did not help, support, promote those two things got very little of my time and my attention.
Mm. I think I wanted to ask this question too because you could have named the book anything,
hmm
right?
hmm
You could have named it anything. I mean, there's a million, right? Why step left and move forward? Was that like a phrase that you were taught by a mentor? Was that something you saw on a fortune cookie and that just like why that particular title?
So watching TV, free TV, I used to watch Hanna-Barbera, and they had that little snaggletooth tiger that used to say "step left," or he would say something to that effect. It was like "move left." What did he say? Okay, you're gonna have to cut this part.
No, you're fine.
But
I might throw a clip. I'll just throw a clip in of him saying it if we can find it.
it was okay. I'm drawing such a fart. But the tiger, I can see him now. He had handcuffs on, like a
Mm,
tuxedo, like a fancy little tiger,
mm.
and he would say, you had to step left, heavens to Megatroy, blah blah blah. But he would say, step left. Do I have my phone? Because people keep asking me that question, which I think is funny. But he would say, exit stage left. That's what he would say. When the shit was getting bad, he'd be like, exit stage left. And that's how he was getting out of it.
Mm.
But I just thought that was really funny. Um, so just watching that cartoon growing up and hearing that cartoon character, that lion, when things got real, he would just say, exit stage left.
Mm.
And so when things got tough, I would just say, okay, let's exit stage left.
Mm.
And as I got older, move forward, just got to add it to it.
Yeah, I like that.
Step left, move forward, because I didn't want to just move out the way.
Mm.
Because if I move out the way, I'm still here. It's just here's the problem, but I'm stationary. I don't want to be here out of harm's way. I want to be here out of harm's way, but doing better and going forward.
Mm.
And so we just started stepping left and moving forward, all in one move. I don't want to sit and wait and be swallowed up. Keep it moving.
Mm.
Like I'm not the type of person that will allow grass to grow under my feet.
Mm. Mm.
So we're
Yeah.
going to step left and keep going.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because that's the first thing I thought of. Exit stage left is an escape.
Mhm.
You're not trying to escape it. Your goal is to press forward and solving the problem
Yes.
and making sure you can keep going through it.
I'm going to move left and forward, left and then forward.
So I think what I wanted to know, and what a lot of people probably want to know, is with that being the name of the book, Step Left and Move Forward, the assumption would then be that every chapter is a moment where you were presented with an obstacle, you stepped left and kept moving from it. How is your book broken down with regards to chapters?
See, now I think that you say that because you and I've had the conversation about it. I don't know that people would assume that every chapter will be about a moment where I had to step left and move forward. That is how I wrote it.
Okay.
But even within a chapter, it's not just one thing. Like in life, you're going to have to step left, move forward. And so I tried to design it in a collection. Like the first chapter is largely my childhood up to like age 15. I didn't have a lot of control, if any, over much of what happened up until 15. 15 was a very key moment because I'm pregnant. And so the rest of it is about, this happy life until I turned 18 and my mom and her then boyfriend, who I believe was my biological father, who I adored. And when they broke up and he was like, I'm not your daddy. And that moment changed my life. What do you mean? Like, come again? You what? What do you mean? And that's how I found out who the man that I adored and thought was my dad. So nonchalantly, I'm not your dad. Wait a minute. And so we moved after that breakup, and I was introduced to the rest of my family in Florida because But that relationship, my mom moved to New Jersey when I was like 1.
Mm.
And we stayed there until they broke up. And now we're back in Florida. But my whole life changed. The people are different. The everything is different. She's different. We're here in Florida, and it was just such a pivotal moment in my life. But nothing, I think, without even knowing the words, it was the first time that I realized or felt like things weren't safe.
Mm.
Because in my mind, he was bigger than life. Like, he was huge. He would pick me upside down by my feet and shake me, and like, I just thought he was just so huge. And he was such a fun parent. Like, he was here's some candy. Like, you were the good cop. You were the good parent, the fun parent. The parenting was my mom. Like, she was the one that, bedtime, clean your room. He was the fun guy. And so to not have him there with such mean words to be the end of it, it just shook me.
Mm.
I
think what I find interesting too is like how a lot of our past is shaped by our parents. You said something really interesting. You said, I didn't really have control, because when you're a kid, everything's kind of happening to you, right? So what in the book, because it's still in development, you're still kind of going through it, but in the book, what do you think people would be most surprised by, like with regards to moments in your life happening to you? What do you think people would read that and they'll go, what? That happened to Tessie?
See, I think when I'm talking to people, the thing that seems to shock people a lot is when I tell them that I was 15 and pregnant. That's a what? And then follow right behind, you dropped out of high school. Yeah, I'm a high school dropout. I think that shocks people. Like the big wow. That shocks people. When I tell people I've been arrested before, that shocks people. You're a lawyer. Like those big shocker, salacious kind of tabloid kind of headlines. I think those are shockers. When I tell people I've eaten out of a garbage can, it's crazy because when I say that, I think people have this image of me digging through the garbage can on the corner looking for trash, eating half-eaten sandwiches. No. But when I was talking to someone else, they're like, you're watering that down, right? Well, I'm not watering it down. I'm just making sure that I'm factually explaining it the way that it was. Like, my brother, one of my favorite people on the planet, he's 2 years younger than me. And we used to collect bottles and cans because you could sell them. And that was our little hustle.
Right.
And we looked in this big dumpster that was behind a grocery store looking for cans and bottles in there. And in there, we had found a box of candy that had melted. And so the grocery store threw it out in this dumpster. And it wasn't opened. And it was whatever. And so we thought, it's okay to eat. It's in the dumpster. Right. It's melted candy. We ate gummy bears till our head was spinning and dizzy and crazy. But we started going back there again, like, looking for this pack of cookies that had been crumbled or broken. And so they were going to throw this, what we thought good food, and we thought it's clean because it's in a dumpster, but it hasn't been opened, so it's okay. And so that was a thing. Or like, I think that those types of things, I think people would be shocked by. I don't think growing up poor, we grew up really poor, I don't think that would shock anybody. Clothes, like, it was so normal to me. It was like, it wasn't crazy to me.
It was just life.
It was just life, and I had fun with my brother, and I had fun with my little cousins, and it didn't feel hard. It just felt normal.
I think it's because, and I imagine why people kind of see it like that, because in relation to what your life is now, and when they think about who you are or their perception of who you are, because everyone's perception is different, but when they look at and see who you are and then think to themselves, that's what she went, like, she went from this to this. And I think it's great though too, because that, I would imagine that would give a lot of people pause and think to themselves, how far have I come? Because naturally you compare. You're like, okay, I've been through this, I've been through that. Tessie is here, and I'm like, gosh, I'm sure if I just tried a little bit harder, did a little bit more, I could kind of get to a place like that. Is that kind of your perspective on the book? That it's sort of like a roadmap for someone reading it, how to ascend past what they believe they're capable of? Or
no, it's not a roadmap for anybody. It's definitely not a roadmap on how to ascend because I didn't know how I was going to arrive where I am. And I tell my children, I tell my husband, I tell you, I tell anybody else, just get up every day and move the needle. It's
Mm.
just little steps, baby steps turn into big. I mean, baby steps create miles and miles and miles. Baby steps. Just keep going. Just keep going. It's not a roadmap because I did not know how to get to where I was. I just was so focused on the end goal that I was open to ideas of how to get here. I was open to the pivots. I was open to the swings and the moves. Like traditionally people go to college, you enroll in whatever university and you get a bachelor's. I must have went through 5 schools to get my bachelor's because I had to move over here. Well, I'm going to class here. I'm taking classes here. I'm still moving towards it. Oh, I moved over here. Blah 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 blah. I got evicted. We're going over here, so I'm taking classes over here for the summer. Like I didn't have a roadmap. I'm not suggesting that anybody take this crazy route that I took to get here. What I'm suggesting is that whatever it is you're determined to do, be determined to
Mm.
do it.
Right.
And whatever life throws at you, step left, move forward, and you will get there. You will not necessarily know. It is not even your job to know how you're going to get there. Just know that you're determined to get there,
Mm.
and the rest will reveal itself. I'm thinking like one of these a book that I was reading in the last few months, and it was an analogy that people put more trust, like basically in your car. If you were to drive from here to your house at 11 o'clock tonight, you can't see the ride. Or let's just say somewhere different that you've never been. You're driving to Kentucky and you've never been, but you have on your Waze and your whatever, and you're following where it's telling you to go. You can only see so far with your headlights 11 o'clock at night. You don't know that the highway is there. You don't know. And you're going, think about this. Like you're going 75, 80 miles per hour down a highway that you've never been on,
Mm.
full speed ahead. Your wife, your daughter, Abigail, everybody's in the car. It's the middle of the night and you're driving. You don't even know where you're going, but you have confidence that the road is going to be there because you know you're going to Kentucky.
Mm.
It's the same thing. Just imagine Kentucky is where you want to be with your career or buy a house or whatever your goal is, because everybody's goal is not built around a career. Whatever that goal is, it is you're in a car 11 o'clock at night and you have every confidence that someone else built a road before you.
Right.
You've never seen this road. You don't know that whomever built the road, but you have every confidence it's going to be there. And you fill up your tank with gas and you get on it with every confidence. There's no doubt in your mind that there's a highway between here and Kentucky,
Mm.
and you get on it. And I'm just saying that was my mindset around being an attorney. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know what's coming along the way. I don't know what's at this exit or
Right.
that exit.
You
I
just
don't
know
know.
that's your North Star.
I
That's where you're
exactly.
going.
I don't know where I'm going to stop and get gas. I don't know what we're going to have for lunch on the way. I know we're going there.
Mm.
That is what I knew.
Right.
That is what I knew.
I like that. I think too, what I wanted to ask, because you mentioned a book earlier. You said, you get, you read a book, you kind of get
Mhm.
some inspiration from it. You understand the messaging. What do you think, or which book do you think best helped you write the book you're writing right now? What book have you read that really resonated with you so powerfully that it gave you some inspiration to write what you're creating right now?
I don't think there was a book that inspired me to write my book.
Mm.
I I'm not. I can't say that I was a big reader
Mm.
at all until the last. I would say the last 5 or 6 years. I start to read books, and most of them are self-help books on entrepreneurship or mindset or that type of thing. I wanted to write my book. I started with one of my sisters, Candy. Um, she and I were going to start this project, and then life happened, and we got this, and we got distracted from it. So I wanted to write this book well over 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. And I wasn't reading books other than Dr. Seuss. I think we had a conversation before.
Right.
Like outside of children's stories for my children, I was not a big reader, so I can't say that I was inspired to write a book based on a book I read.
Mm.
I was inspired to write a book just to organize my thoughts and give someone else an inspiration that they can do hard things that they can overcome obstacles and they can keep going. Like, it's literally focusing on what you want. Well, before this tag word mindset or affirmations, before I knew any of those things, heard any of those words, I just always felt like I'm different,
Mm.
and what I want to do, I'm going to do. I just have been very stubbornly determined that I want what I want, and I'm willing to do it, do whatever it was to get it. Even if it
Mm.
was not the fun stuff, this is what I want, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get what I want.
Mm.
And I just want other people to know if they like the book, the purpose of the book was just to inspire somebody else that you can overcome whatever hard situation you were born into. You can be born into a great situation. You could have had wonderful parents who were financially prepared for you, and then there was a medical issue.
Mm.
You can have a spouse left you, or children. Like, life. I'm not saying your issues don't have to be my issues for you to take something away from this book. I'm saying whatever your thing is your thing, but the inner drive to overcome whatever life brings you is what I hope to have people talk about, think about how to overcome it. Because it's not always going to be pretty. Like, and I'm not interested in it being pretty. I'm interested in it being done. Whatever that looks like. Like, you know, piecing together my bachelor's degree. That wasn't pretty. Like, you
Right.
look at my transcript, it's a little here, it's a little here. I had to withdraw from a class because something's going on at home, or finances, or children. Like, it wasn't pretty, and I wasn't interested in it being pretty. I was interested in it being done.
Mm.
Like, let's get her done.
Yeah.
And that's just what it was.
When you think about the process of making this book,
Mhm.
would you say it has been easy, difficult? Like, for you, how has the process been writing the book?
Well, I have someone helping me write the book, and in the interview process of us writing and talking about the concepts and the stories, it was, I think the most interesting thing about it is realizing how much I followed my mom's pattern despite what my career turned out to be. My mom, like, one of the biggest things about my childhood is that I moved a lot, like every few months. Whatever obstacle got in her way, she moved. You break up with somebody, she moved. We get evicted, she moves. You don't like this person, we move. And as an adult, I have moved a lot, regardless of what the reason was, regardless that I'm still on my career path that I want, that I wanted to pursue. I moved a lot.
Mm.
And I didn't realize how much I moved because in my mind I'm thinking, okay, I'm doing it different, and I'm more stable, and I've given my children more stability. Like, I moved a lot. Even as an attorney, I moved a lot.
Right.
And I moved offices a lot. Like, I still have a very serious, people say fight or flight. I'm very much flight. And if I don't like something, I will pivot and move. Pivot and move. And figure it out over here. And avoidance of things. So that was very interesting. Some of the stories that I remembered growing up, trying to write them down and organize them in my mind, was really some of the moments that I went back and referred to, um, putting the timeline and looking back on them kind of shocked me. Like, I didn't realize they were so close in time, or you know the timing of things,
Mm.
and memories that I hadn't talked about in a long time. And I'm like, oh well, I was thinking it was this, but no, actually, because of this, it had to be a different way. Like, my memories. When someone asks me, like, where are you from? Questions that I hadn't really thought about deeply. I don't have one answer. It's a little bit everywhere. It's a little bit everywhere. I moved around a lot, and so I don't know. It's just been more of an epiphany that of how much I moved around,
Mm.
and how much I took that kind of pattern. Yeah, not happy with something. Move, leave.
Right. No, you brought up other people like in your family thinking about recalling a lot of these events. This is a question a lot of people have for authors in general, because especially when you're writing about your life, are you concerned that there will be some sort of conversation, backlash, someone like family members being in a level upset or maybe feeling a bit exposed from what you are choosing to relay in this book? Do you think there'll be, are you concerned that there might be some conversations you got to have? Like, Tessie, what is this? Like, I don't remember that. Like, anything in that sort?
No. Will it be some conversations? Yes. Am I concerned about it? Not like deeply. The only people that I think would have something to say would probably be an ex.
Mm.
But I am trying to be careful in the way that I relay the story, because it's not meant to be a tell-all. Like, ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not that at all. It's about my life, how I experienced my life, my thoughts on my experiences. And so I don't need to tell your dirt to tell my story. So people in my life should not be concerned that I'm going to expose anything about them.
Mm.
If when you say, like, my brother's father, when they broke up and he made that comment, he and I've had a conversation about it. I've called him as an adult and had that conversation, so he wouldn't be surprised that I felt that way. We've had that conversation, and I don't think that he was meaning any intention. Like, you were in the heat of an argument with my mom, and I'm like, Dad, da, 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 da. And he said it so matter of factly. You didn't call me a name after it. You didn't hit me. You just said, I'm not your dad. Like, how it affected me is how it affected me. But so I'm not writing it to slander anybody else. Um, I mean, it is what it is. I'm trying to take great care to keep my book about me. I understand they are in my life, and you have a part in my life, but it is my life. And it's one of those things where if you want it to be written better in a book, you should have behaved better in life. I don't know.
Well, that's what I was I was leading into that, because a lot of people, when they write books, whether it's a tell-all or just a biography, sometimes people don't always come out looking glamorous in the retelling of the story. So I know sometimes it's not on purpose and that's not the intention, but I think there is a level of care you're supposed to have. Like, you're making it very clear. I'm being careful in making sure, but other people don't care. So I think it's interesting to hear that you are being careful.
Well, I am choosing to be careful with certain aspects of the book because I know, one, it was a long time ago, and a lot of the things that I have to say about other people in my life, even particularly when it relates to my ex-husband, we've been divorced since 2007, and I understand that, like, when he and I got together, I had two children. We came into a relationship. It was difficult to be young people with a big family. We both went to law school at the same time, that type of thing. So who he was then and who he is now, I can tell you who he is now. We don't interact. We don't really have any sort of a relationship at all. So I don't want to cause any unnecessary damage to the life that he's built. As I'm telling my story of my journey of how I got here, we were together years, well over a decade, and we have three children together. So of course he's going to be mentioned in there. Um, there are tough spots, tough conversations that they are where they are. They are where they are. But it's, again, I'm being careful, or attempting to be careful with my words, to not cause or create any unnecessary harm. But everything that I say it'll be factually based, and it'll be my opinion about it. So it won't be anything to try to make him look bad or anything. It will be what it is, and it just is what it is.
I think what I'm curious about, as well as maybe some others, is some people write books, and you're being very clear that your purpose of writing this book is to help people learn how to step left and move forward, right? However, writing books can, draw some great benefits, right?
Mhm.
Like travel and book, all this. Are you excited for what potentially may be the excitement for the book? Are you excited for potentially thousands of people reading this and wanting to learn more about Tessie, like speaking engagements and potentially, New York Times bestseller? Like, does that part of book writing excite you?
I'm very excited to talk to people. I like talking to people, learning their stories, trying to inspire people. I like that aha moment when I'm having a conversation with someone. They go, "Oh, that was really good advice," or whatever. That excites me the most. And to talk to more people and how many people can I talk to? That part of it really does excite me. I don't like necessarily monologues to the extent that you and I are having a
Mm,
conversation now instead of me just sitting here telling you about my book.
right.
Speaking engagements are. I do look forward to speaking engagements where I get to have a conversation with someone about the book or about my life. Yes, but Charles is really sweet. He had this idea to put the cover of the book on the T-shirt, and we
Mm,
wore it on a business trip through the airport. And it's a cover of the book, and it has me on it. And people would stop him and ask him what the book is about, and he just point to me, "Baby, what's the book about?"
mm,
And I was very surprised how much it kind of like, whoa, like how do you sum that up in a word? How do you sum that up in a phrase rather? What is the
mm,
book about? And the book is truly about the obstacles I had to overcome in my life as a teen mom, a high school dropout, to become a owner, an attorney, and an owner of a multi-million dollar law firm here in Atlanta, Georgia. That is what the book is about. I do look forward to talking to other people and speaking engagements and other books and other opportunities to help other people figure out how they can step left and move forward too. The craziest thing on the journey from where I started and before I started reading books is to really understand how all of that was in my mind to do it, and the self belief that I could do it. And then when I realized that there's all these books that tell you so has been crazy because I didn't know that there was a whole, you know, train of thought and school of thought out there. There's like, oh, this is the laws of nature and the, affirmations and positive energy and the laws of abundance. Had no clue about any of that. I just knew that as long as I was focused on what I wanted to do, I can keep moving and get there. And so having other people to talk to about their journey or sharing that with other people, that's very exciting to me.
mm.
Yeah.
And I think I do have one last question. I think what I want to know is, what is the development of this book like for you with regards to being an independent? Like, because we talked about this earlier, you're not going through, as of right now, you're not currently going through a publishing company.
Hmm.
This is all self-published.
Hmm.
Being a Black entrepreneur and a woman, does this feel comfortable for you where you're like, I'm used to, hey, from the ground up, this is all me. I don't need nobody else. Or like, how is that experience for you being a self-publisher at this point?
It's new. It's a whole new language. Like I never knew what an ISBN was. And I did, there's so much that I didn't know. In my mind, when I started, it's like, oh, I'm going to write a book. I never thought about publishing it. I never thought about the process of how to publish it and marketing it or the cover. And then you think, oh, I wrote a book. And all the questions like, oh, what kind of cover? How thick? How many chapters? How many, like, whoa, 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 so much. I just want to tell the story. And so it's been a lot of learning, a lot of questions, asking you about your experience, asking other authors about their experience, and learning this whole new language and whole new thing, and having a great team around me to support me in it. Um, I have a great, great village, and hey y'all, this is what I'm doing. And everybody's like, how can I help? How can I help? What do you need me to do? And so that's been really, really great.
Mm,
I like the self-publishing part because what I'm learning so far from my research and conversations, that if I went with a publisher,
mm,
that they will have some control over how the book is, what chapters, what is said, what makes it, what gets cut. And maybe it's a little bit of a control issue at this point. I want to be in control of what I say and how my story is told.
right.
And so to the point that I can have a publisher come in and assist me because they know what they're doing, I'm open to that. But I need to have control of how I tell my story.
Hmm.
And to make sure I have it at this juncture, starting out with book one, I decided to self-publish.
Now,
Yeah.
hold on. See, I have a last question,
Cool.
but then you said book one.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Mhm.
you have plans
Mhm.
to create more than just this book. Do you have a roadmap, sort of an idea of what the next one is? Because I would assume what I would like to see, right, from you is the road to becoming a successful attorney who owns a firm. I would love to see that process because I have cousins and people that I know personally who are just now getting into law school or became lawyers.
Mhm.
Seeing that path and like understanding it, I would love to see a book about that. But what do you plan on making the second book about?
You know, it's still interesting when you say that, like you would like to see a book. I still don't consider myself an authority on that.
Mm.
And that sounds crazy to some people, but there's so much that I don't know. Like I am such an infant in this journey, even with a $4 million firm, or this year we'll do 5, 6. That in the grand scheme of law firms, we are in preschool. So for me to write a book about the process of becoming an attorney to this, I'm not the authority on that. I still have so much to learn. The beginning processes of that. Now, see, that would be something that I think a publisher can help me with. Oh, you have someone you want to, let's talk and collaborate on how to write that book together, my experiences with their expertise. I think that would be more suited for that. But a book about my life, I need to have the control over my story for my life. If we were to write a part two, like we have step left and move forward, and if part two, the sequel is, keep it going, and where we talk about me and Charles or something, I want more control over my own voice
Right.
in telling my story. But other stories and like this book that I really, really, really love is the one that I recommended to you.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
The Go Giver.
Oh, The Go Giver.
The
Okay.
Go Giver. I thought that was such a phenomenal book.
Because you also suggested $100 million in leads, which I love that book, by the way.
See, but 100 Million Leads is a really good book about marketing.
Right.
The Go Giver is a book to me about life, how to live your life in service of other people, trying to help other people. And as you're trying to help other people, you will help yourself, helping others. Go Giver, they have Go Giver, and they have Go Giver Marriage, and they have Go Giver, all these other things. But like I think a Go Giver for lawyers on how to be better attorneys, understanding that you're impacting people's life in that way, specifically about the attorney part of how to be a better lawyer, the Go Giver version of that, I think would be an excellent book. The other book I like is TED, The Empowerment Dynamic. I think a series on that, an attorney's version of that would be phenomenal.
Right.
Phenomenal. That empowerment dynamic to make sure that you are guiding and instructing and counseling your clients in an effective way. I can see the empowerment dynamic. I can see that book written for lawyers or entrepreneurs.
Right.
That would be a great collab, I think.
And I listen, I consider you a mentor. I consider you a friend, client, boss, everything. I think you're being too humble just in general. Be honest. Because I think your book, if you wrote a book about being a lawyer, becoming a lawyer, what it looks like, I think that could end up being like the 5 love languages of lawyering. Because you have so much experience in it, those 5 love languages at this point, it is used as a standard. Like now, if someone were to go on a dating show, internet, look on Love Island, whatever, everybody's like, what's your love language? What's your love language? I think you have enough experience in lawyering and being an attorney that you could create the next 5 love languages of lawyering. I think it will be that big. I think it would be enough people who would use it as a base standard for what it should look like in this field. I truly think you have not just the ability, but the expertise to build something like that out.
I appreciate that. I think the difference, I know that there are, I could, without thinking twice, name 20 lawyers that are better than I am, that I consider to be a better lawyer than I am. But I think the difference is the amount of care and understanding the thing that makes me different from other lawyers, and I'm asked this question a lot,
Mm.
what makes you different? I'm asked that from people interviewing me. I'm asked that of a potential client. The thing I think that sets me apart, and the only reason why I think that if I were to talk to other attorneys about how to be a lawyer and how to make that connect on the go-giver side or on the empowerment side, I think the idea that what you do matters. And people say that in almost a cliche way. But to understand that what you do will affect somebody's life several generations, 7 generations to be exact, down the road is so truly important to me at my core that if I were to talk to other attorneys about how to do what they do, it would be that level of care that you have to almost have as an instinct
Mm.
with your clients to get them to that place and to counsel them along the way. Because your clients are not going to care about your degrees and your accolades. They don't care about my success as a lawyer. They want to know, can I help them with this pain point? They want to know, can I help them see their child and protect their assets?
Mm.
They don't give a damn about all the rest of that behind there. So you put your ego in your back pocket and help them see the person and focus and have a standard of care.
Mm.
As an attorney who happens to do legal services, one of my coaches said, "You are uh, we fix personal problems with legal solutions,"
Mm.
and that's very true. And that's very true. And I think in family law and in criminal defense, I think that's the thing that's missing from most attorneys. I don't feel like what I do is so special or so different that it's going to be changing people's life. I think my perspective from where I started makes it a lot less frightening to people.
Mm.
I think I don't talk over people's head or try to act like I'm so smart and so unapproachable or out of reach for people. And so maybe that will start a conversation that people feel comfortable hearing or participating in.
Mm.
So maybe from that regard, we'll have some meaningful conversations.
I mean, either way, I'm excited for it. As of right now, we don't have a date for the release.
We do.
We do.
October
Okay.
10th.
Okay. So
October 10th.
okay. So talk about that. October 10th. The day. What are you planning? What does it look like? What does October 10th look like?
So my birthday is October 5th. Woo woo, Libra. And so because we'll be finishing the book the end of September, I just set the launch date as the Saturday following my birthday. So I'm going to have a birthday party, launch party, kind of all in one. And that is what we're doing. Looking forward to that. And then going to have a couple other little smaller launches at maybe some local bookstores and different little venues, some other opportunities for people to come out, participate, and get the book. But we are pre-selling the book now. So you can buy it on Kindle, the ebook. You can pre-sell an order of it now. And I think for people that have buy purchase a copy of the ebook now, even before the launch date, we're thinking of something kind of special to do for those people, just as a thank you for supporting our journey and supporting the book even before it came out. As of right now, we're selling the book for $10, so it's $9.99. So I think it's a small investment to figure out how to keep it pushing and moving in a forward direction. So I love to have the conversation, but again, that's available now on Kindle, and I think as of Wednesday or Thursday, it will be available wherever you buy your ebook, Apple and Barnes and Nobles, Nook, those type of things. So super excited.
Now, I mean, we got to at some point anticipate a audiobook version. Are you gonna get in the mic and get in the studio and voice your own book? I mean,
that was really crazy. Somebody asked me that about a week ago, and again, see, this is going back to I never thought of an
all of
audio
that,
book.
right?
I never even thought about an ebook. I thought I'm gonna write a book, and I'm thinking paperback, hardback book. And it's like, oh, ebook, okay, audio book. Like I'm open to whatever comes my way. An audio book, I my voice sounds like a I don't know. I have this real scruffy voice or whatever. My story told in my voice. I mean, who knows?
Well, I mean, at this point, October 10th is the date.
Yes.
It is available right now on Kindle as a download or pre-order.
As a pre-order.
As a pre-order.
As a pre-order.
The link will be in the description of this. So even on the podcast, if you're listening to this, it will be in the description, somewhere in the description of the podcast, as well as YouTube. So keep an eye out for that, and it will be in the links as well on all socials. So we will make sure to cover those bases as well. Any final thoughts on the book?
Well, just to add to that part, we are going to be promoting it on all of our social media platforms. We're building out other platforms, coincidentally, not in relation to the book, but we have social media for the family law firm, and then building out social media for the criminal law firm, and then we have TDE, me, the brand, so where the podcast will live. So I think I'm going to have a landing page on the website, so just to make it easy for people to go to the website, and it'll be around, so it'll definitely be accessible over the next couple of months to buy a pre-sale order, but the hardback and paperback copy will be available October 10th. My last words, and it won't be my last words at all, because this is an all encompassing task to write this book while you're running 2 firms and raising 3 children and have a husband and a life. But it is taking a lot of time right now, and I want to bring Charles in so we can add him to the conversation to see what the experience has been like for him while I'm in the process of writing the book. I think I take Charles on a lot of adventures that, again, when we got married, he had no idea this is what he was signing up for. Like, let's go. He's such a big support. Everything is, okay, what are we doing next, Tessie? What you want to do next? All the way to the point where you are making a T-shirt with the cover of the book and my face on it. He's so supportive, but he has been very supportive and integral in the support of me writing the book. So want to add him in the conversation and see what he has to say too.
Got you. So the next conversation will be with Charles. We'll sit down with him, ask him some questions, see how he feels. But until then, everybody, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Vows and Verdicts. And we're really excited for this book coming out.
I am too.